Obviously, the storyline for us heading into this one is probably shining the spotlight on Fury and how they rose through the ranks of APAC South in 2022, and now we're going to see if they can back that up here in 2023. That said, Wasted Potential have a couple of decently big names on their team as well, so expecting a pretty fierce contest, and on a map where we often go in with a certain expectation on how it's going to play out. We'll have to wait and see whether or not those expectations are matched, because the meta is continually evolving, and we might finally see some of those additions crack into the Clubhouse meta.
And a return for us as well, coming from APAC South back to SEA. Some familiar names obviously in this, and obviously Fury being a large part of that. But for the side of Wasted Potential, Shibei, obviously formerly of Tide, didn't have the greatest of time in their one appearance in APAC South back in Stage 3. I believe it was around the bottom end of the table, 7th or so. And Hermosa, former sub as well for Gaming Gladiators, now gets to sort of shine here in the starting lineup for Wasted Potential. No surprise really with any of these bands, although the Warden, a little bit intriguing to finish and round things off courtesy of Fury, which of course they themselves absolute stalwarts of this scene. They have made a change, of course. Crit J comes in, Healthcare goes over to Roosters. They've also changed up the coaching ranks as well. Dominic has left and Cypher K has made his way in. So some little changes throughout the off-season for Fury. We'll see if it does better them, of course. The team from Thailand, we expect big things from them in this competition. It will be difficult though. It's a very good looking region. It's not going to be easy. Wasted Potential definitely come into this as the underdogs, but they've got some good players themselves. It should be a fun one. Clubhouse we go.
And we'll kick things off over towards Basement. Fury, of course, beginning on the defensive side, and their lineup very, very standard for Basement. Obviously, his army has snuck through the ban phase, replaced instead by that Warden ban and I guess the Valk as well. So that's going to open up more opportunities for the defense. But yeah, I guess the expectation was going in that things will be kept pretty standard by both rosters. Obviously, as Crow did touch on the desk, it's very difficult to see any operator, even one like Brava, finding their way into the meta. It's just so difficult to trade out operators, especially on the attacking side of Clubhouse, because there's so many specific little mini games that are exclusive to Clubhouse that are critical in opening up winning conditions. So we'll see that develop throughout this match, and perhaps different objectives will throw different things at us. But for now, it's what we've come to expect on this map.
It's a good discussion point though, when obviously yesterday as well, seeing a little bit of Brava on certain particular maps. And I think when you think of Clubhouse, you probably do think of it in some ways, but even Flores was never the kind of operator that made its immediate transition to a map like Clubhouse. That's taken some time. Don't even really typically see it all that much. And whenever I think of Brava, I think of probably a Flores replacement. So not too surprised that it's not going to be seen here on the open ground. Fury on the defense, and it is going to be Basement. Church and Arsenal we go. Wasted Potential don't really have too much in front of them above. They'll get free control of this kitchen position. Her real defense, obviously still have to deal with the hatch, get that opened up, but a lot of time valuable. Fury though opting to just go for the more defensive route though, sit on site and play for time.
Zero, a very entertaining pick. Heading into this operation of Commanding Force, did receive a small quality of life change where his cameras now automatically rotate, so slightly better control and maneuverability with those Argus launched cameras. Just a bit easier to use and a bit slightly more effective on a map like Clubhouse as well, with a hatch heavy meta on a site like Basement. Secondary hard breach obviously comes in handy as well, and Shibei making good effect of that. Minute to go, and the groundwork now almost done. Not really much in the way of engagements. A stark contrast to last night, for instance, where South Asia, obviously on different maps though, very much preferred a frag-heavy opening to a lot of rounds. This time though, it's a lot more subdued.
I think that's just also the growth of this region for Southeast Asia over probably the last 12 to 18 months. They've really started to solidify themselves as a region that wants to play a little bit closer to their international counterparts of EU, NA, Vexion getting the opening kill. Dark Falls too as well over in blue. That's a really good start for Wasted Potential on their push in. Eventually though, frags come back the other way for Fury. So slow start does mean it comes to a fast-paced finish. Shot from Crit, not that bad. Through the wall, he almost got a headshot. Got attacked nonetheless though. Vexion's still low on the Ash. But outnumbered in the end. Fury get the final frags. They get the key frags. But it wasn't a bad start from Wasted Potential.
Yeah, they had a really nice initial push. They got a couple of opening picks, but then that momentum did swing back to Fury, who were doing a great job in trading out picks. We then saw it stall out, the Izami providing some nice cover, especially in that church position for the defenders of Fury to just settle down for a moment and recompose themselves. Perhaps Wasted Potential unlucky to get an additional pick from that blue position in the transition phase towards the objective. That probably did prove costly because then the one-to-one trades continued to filter through. Fury just edging out on top, but that was pretty high quality siege from both teams. It was very restrained, very disciplined, and then the trades actually quite on point from both rosters throughout that execute phase. So if the standard of siege is that round or higher going forward, we're going to be in for a very good game.
Yeah, and obviously the first time we're seeing Fury for this stage, for this year. Haven't played yet. Wasted Potential, same for them as well. And obviously after this match, everyone else that played earlier basically repeats. They'll play their second game, so it's one and done for these two tonight. That's another thing to take into account. You know, for all of those other teams that have already played, they will play again. Wasted Potential and Fury will essentially get the rest of the night off. They only have to play the one game. They only have to prep for the one game. So it's a good opportunity for a team like Wasted Potential to have all of their focus on this one game, this one team, only Fury, nothing else. Play to your heart's content, and then you can rest for the rest of the night. Gym bedroom here in the second round. Jacuzzi, you're already open.
Wasted Potential now will rotate over towards CCTV. Just looking to expedite that process of preparing the default breaches. Doing a good job at the moment. CC opened without much in the way of resistance. However, Crit J is holding top of main stairs behind a deployable shield. Top of red stairs, that is. So the entry into CCTV isn't necessarily free. Pressure now over towards logistics as well. The hatch opened up, but keeper barriers in response. So Fury on the defense are reacting quite well to the pressure on display from Wasted Potential, and it will be up to the attack line to crack one of these openings up. Obviously easier said than done, especially with Mirror on the board as well. Going to stall out some of these positions. So we'll see where they decide to posture and what sort of win condition they want to go for. I like that down below. Cyrus may be able to use those grenades to good effect.
I'm reloading.
A little bit of vert. Well, we didn't quite touch on it, and not sure if those on the desk did, but it is the return of Ysera, because no Hermosa in the starting lineup, unfortunately. I was looking for that and wondered what was up with that, but nice to see an old veteran of the scene back in on the Thermite. Did take a little bit of damage. Has diffuser in hand. 40 seconds left in this round, though. There was Wasted Potential that was able to get the opening picks in that last round of Church Arsenal. It didn't quite help them, though. Fury were able to bite back, and so far it's somewhat similar. Slow paced, there'll be a late round rush through Jacuzzi Wall, and Lycolis is perfectly set up for it. The only sad thing is he's so low on health. One bullet, we'll see his demise. Crit J gets the opening pick in this round, and from here, you can probably imagine it all should be one-way traffic. Cyrus has done well from main stairs, but unfortunately outgunned and outnumbered. A very, very stagnant offense in that round, unfortunately, for Wasted Potential, and Fury will always punish that.
Yeah, the bathroom mirror is still standing, and other points of interest not really pressured enough there by the attack. Cyrus made a great effort, very late in that round to salvage it, but obviously too little, too late, and then Shibe on an island in the 1v3. Fury will not let those rounds slip with the amount of experience that they have. So it's another good round win for Fury, and so far showing that at the death, when it counts in crunch time, they are the better team at the moment. So Wasted Potential obviously can put a tick in the box of setting up these attacks quite nicely. Unfortunately though, it is just that transitional phase where they are looking to fight for control inside, trying to find trades, give themselves the advantage. They're just falling short, and Fury are exposing that weakness.
It is Clubhouse though, guys. It's Clubhouse defense. I think there's obviously something that has to be kept in mind, and realistically, as one of the maps that have just been around for forever now, how much can you realistically do? I mean, in fairness, I think Wasted Potential probably could have looked to be a little bit more proactive on the attack there. Didn't offer a whole lot. You can't just play 20-second meta anymore. Obviously, Fury punishing that. Bring out the Solace this round, and Shibe says goodbye. That'll be probably a rehost, as it is potentially early enough. Might not be though, because it's not during the action. During the prep phase, I should say. I think we play this one out. Oh, swing. Early swing from Crit. Somehow does not find the kill that I thought he had basically sewn up. And if he doesn't find the kill soon, he could get pinched here in Garage.
Can be an awkward position. Dark can assist from Rafters though. Envy evens the man count. Oh, Vexy needs to be mindful. Exposes his feet and gets lit up. 3 versus 3 as I9 is able to respond to the trades coming through. Yazira falls. Crit taken low, but the coverage, it's on point. Vexian now outside the breach, only a minute into the round getting that open, and he finds himself in a 1v3.
Ooh, nice shot. Still so much work to be done from here. At the very least, though, a time. There's a lot of it. Minute 45, has diffuser. Not full health, not ideal. Still has a drone to play off of as well, and never mind, lost it immediately. Can obviously use others, and we'll obviously spot the one up in Rafters, which is littered with Kiba barriers from BG Man. You can shoot through that wall. No, you can't. It's reinforcement.
It's winnable. It's such a challenging cross, though. It's a tough cross. If he gets deep, he might be able to make a play, but I9 times it to perfection.
Had all the angles covered. Shibe back into the game. A little bit disappointing, obviously, for Wasted Potential. I feel that they could have maybe done a little bit more in that round had they had all 5 players, but it's just one of those things that it does happen that way. Fury, to be fair, looking good early on. Cash and CCTV, proactive, good defensive Garage. It's risky as well when you try and go for that kind of presence, try and swing early. Obviously, it didn't even probably work out as well as Crit J would have wanted, but nevertheless, it is Fury that are dictating this game thus far through the opening 3 rounds. So, not too much long to go until we can get back into this game on Clubhouse. This rehost, unfortunately, just taking a little bit longer than we anticipated, but all the players in the lobby, so it should just be a matter of time until we get back in. Of course, can confirm that that 3rd round was wiped out. It was not past the grace period, so obviously, guys, it does get replayed. We will confirm that one. Cash and CCTV for the 3rd round we go. So it's a 2-0 lead at the moment for Fury on the defense. And we head into round 3.
And confirmation that it'll be same site, same ops, so we can probably anticipate that the round will play out in somewhat of a similar fashion. A large part of the defense did hinge on the Azami meta over on Rafters, being able to create additional combo with those Kiba barriers. Can be very tricky to clear, and it's not as if Wasted Potential now can change up their lineup to suit that and bring more projectiles or something to deal with it. They'll just have to go with what they've got, and unfortunately for them, that only consists of 2 nades on Envid, so we'll see how they go about clearing out. Obviously, Capital will be very useful, an operator that is quite niche at the moment in Rainbow Six, but always good to see him get some playtime and I'm glad you pointed it out before. Zero jumping back. It has been quite a while since he has played at this sort of level. So excited to see if he can find some form. And that really is the tale, I think, for the team as a whole. Quite a few names, quite a bit of potential, and we'll see if they can actually realize it.
Yeah, I think the last time we would have seen Zero would have been Giants. Long time ago now, and Lycolis with the OP kill onto said player as well. Shibe returns fire by getting the elimination onto Crit J. Makes it 4 versus 4 and just opens up this defense ever so slightly, but still largely intact on site. Rafters top red, Lycolis and Con. BG Man just sort of doubling down with Dark. I don't mind this. It really does secure the site. Looking out like Kennel's wall now. Vexion has taken some damage, but they have been able to confirm the opening of the wall, but he does not do so cleanly. Half health, and Shibe is tagged a little bit as well, trying to just open up the bottom of Garage.
Entry point now established. But the real trouble is going to come when they push into Garage itself. As you can see, Rafters has extensive coverage. Keeper barriers protecting any line of sight from Garage in towards that window position. I9 collects another, so Fury maintain the advantage established early on in the round when Lycolis jumped out onto Zero. Shibe rotates meanwhile over towards front door, and Envid has found a good position over towards logistics. Keep in mind though, he's the one with grenades in hand, so barriers that need to be cleared, well, the onus is on him, and he's not really in a position to achieve that goal. Instead, he'll lurk and see if maybe he can find a pick or two, but I don't think anything will present itself unless he goes a little bit wider. Keep peeking, there you go, but he doesn't land enough shots. Lycolis will survive.
Yeah, and the nade wasn't cooked anywhere near long enough, obviously, so Lycolis is able to get away from that. Oh, decent angle though, and Shibe stayed around. Didn't just retreat. Obviously, I know where else to retreat to. He needs to hold that composition. Dark pops up though. And the Rafters. And Lycolis at I9 elsewhere for basically the team play in the end of this round. And while we had to rehost and we had to do it all over again, it still has the same end result. Fury take the third round of Cash and CCTV. They have a 3-0 lead, and still very concerning signs for wasted potential. Their inability to just make something happen on the offense is really letting them down. How much of that is them? How much of that is just the defense of Fury? We'll get a little bit more answers, I guess, in the second half, but nevertheless, a great start for Fury here defensively on Clubhouse. They get to go back down to the basement as well.
Yeah, probably the most confident round that we have seen from Fury so far. They didn't give wasted potential any opportunity to sink their teeth meaningfully into that round. There was a bit of destruction done on exterior Garage, and whilst that was occurring, Zero had already fallen, and then it sort of compounded from there, where players were forced into lurks to try and find isolated kills. Didn't quite work out, and obviously cost wasted potential the round. Fury now with a perfect start will rotate back down below. An information heavy lineup with the Solace and the Mozzie combo, often indicative of a roam, and we'll see if Fury play into that and then fall off later on in the round.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you don't have to necessarily hard commit to it either. You can mainly just sort of play this particular round in 2 halves. You got the early half, bit of roam, bit of information denial, and then drop back to site. I mean, typically Church Arsenal is one of the better sites in this game for being able to roam above and then get back rather comfortably, especially if you sort of lock off that bedroom, take the main stairs route. And I'm just creeping around Con, but the Solus did go back down. Crit J did head back to site, over towards Secret, but yeah, just not really hard committing the way that I9 is. So I9's kind of left on an island up above, but if he kind of plays for that info denial, doesn't give away his position, he can be a factor in the middle to late round, part of this round as a flanker.
Another drone taken down, so that's 5 dealt with by the defense. So only 5 will remain, and Wasted Potential is still droning out up above, clearing corners underneath desks, trying to make sure that it's clear, and if it's not, have those players found. Einline has retreated over towards top red stairs, so he is still a threat. Envy does have his cutoff though, back towards site for now from stock. But so far Fury applying some really nice pressure, and it's not particularly high risk. Rafters has been occupied, but Cyrus falls off, and I9 just continues to hold such a strong spot.
Oh, Ysera's got caught. That was from below, got basically knocked down. Oh, this is an easy kill for I9. Envied had no idea. I mean, it's basically a dream start here for Fury on a church hospital defense to get 2 kills, 1 through the roam, 1 from down below. And now Crit J probably sensing that they can go for a bit of a power play here, push up, really just sweep the map. Force pressure over towards main stairs. They know the player's dropped, and guess what? I9 says hello and goodbye to Vexion. This has been a rather easy round. Honestly, the easiest round of this game thus far. It's flawless for a reason. Impeccable from start to finish from Fury.
And there's often 2 metrics you can look at for a clubhouse roam like that. One is how much time is wasted, and 2, what's the sort of risk associated with making the roam work. A lot of time was wasted, and I9 was allowed to lurk and didn't feel much pressure really at all. There were some half attempts over towards Rafters from like Cyrus midway through the round to maybe pressure that position, but there was nothing really meaningful coming out there from the attack. And then late in the round, when they realized that it was basically impossible to clear the roam, they were then forced into ignoring it, going straight to site. That only exposed some of their weaknesses further. That flank came through, and Fury now up 4-0, and it's quite a commanding lead.
It's at the point now, isn't it, where Wasted Potential's got 2 rounds. They need 1. Absolutely need 1. I said before earlier, 5-1. Have like Clubhouse defensively, especially a team like Fury. It's almost to be expected in some fashion. So, and not necessarily to then think that they are going to go on and win it from there. It's more just the half itself. Then Wasted Potential would aim on the defense themselves to sort of match that, send it to overtime. Gotta get the 1 though. I haven't really looked close, not gonna lie. Really, as this game has actually progressed from round 1 now to round 5, Fury are just getting better and better, and I think pulling away. Wasted Potential have lacked any kind of inhibition on attack. They're not really looking to make plays. It's all a little bit default. It's all a little bit stock standard. There's no hero player. There's no fragger that's running around, sort of like what we saw from Phoenix last night in South Asia, as I9 has been down. Should be able to get revived though by BG Man.
Not the worst of starts from Wasted Potential. Again, good time management with the groundwork. The 2 main breaches are open, so far so good. And I9 being low could prove costly later on in the round, but Cyrus says sayonara. Gets taken down. Those grenades will go with him to the grave, unfortunately. Still though, plenty of util remains. Wasted Potential are stalling out a little bit here though, over towards Cash. Envy though with a grenade.
Their lineup is so systematic though, isn't it? Double hard breach, you got the Thatcher that wants to play with them. It's kind of Envy that needs to actually play as solo roamer to find kills, to pretty much open up the map itself a little bit. But it's hard because Fury's not giving him anything. Like there's no counter lurk from Fury. There's no one roaming. So it means Envy just kind of then has to play util from below, look to try and clear out positions. Then you're not really getting any kind of aggressive plays coming out from Wasted Potential. Jacuzzi's already open. Fury don't really care about that, right? Get the bathroom set up. Smoke goes out. That's intriguing. Blocks off the corridor. Can mean they can get the push in towards Jim. BG Man's watching it. And they've lost Shibe again, just as Envy got a kill. Just as they basically got what they have been needing. A bit of frag power from the Yana. Shibe is gone, so they lose the Thatcher. 45 seconds left in this round, and now down 3 versus 4. Fury on site. Envid has to go big at main stairs.
He'll enter a crossfire. Diffuser in the hands of Uzira on an island on balcony. BG man spotted. A bit risky from him to hold this position. Vexion, though, he does fall. He doesn't win it. A 2 versus 4 with 20 seconds.
And like Colas basically gets a freebie. Envy just runs straight into him, Adello. So that's going to be the round. It's going to be a 5-0 lead for Fury. Issues galore for wasted potential in and out of game. Uzira, not the return to this level that he would have liked so far on day number 1. It's all Fury. It has been getting worse and worse for wasted potential from round 1 to now round 5. And it has all of the hallmarks now to be a kind of 7-0, 7-1 sort of match. On the desk, there were thoughts of 7-4. I came into this maybe thinking 7-5. I gave wasted potential.
In towards side, only compounding things. Making it worse for wasted potential. So for Fury now, it's all about just consolidating this win, remaining calm, remaining composed throughout this break, and bringing it home nice and cleanly.
Yeah, and like, I'm very honest. I think this has been largely disappointing from wasted potential, right? And I think there's got to be a sense of honesty here, because if I just go around singing happy days, and then it kind of devalues that, doesn't it? You know, I think of last night, there were certain teams, certain plays, they didn't necessarily win, guys, but I thought they played well, and I thought that they had good promise and good potential. And so that kind of gets you excited a little bit. You don't have to win to still play well. And unfortunately for wasted potential, I'm not going to lie, they're losing and they're also not playing well. So something to work on, obviously, for the rest of this stage. In fairness, going up against a good team, but ultimately it is going to be a very difficult league to actually find that much success in. Obviously, Fury is a good team, and we do expect them to do well this stage, but yeah, it's difficult start for wasted potential. In fairness, for Fury, to give them all of the credit here, and all the credit is well and truly deserved, they've been good. Really, really good. Defensively, they've not really given much. I think it was that 3rd round crit, or maybe it was like Colas got a little bit over aggressive. Okay, whatever, that's fine. Other than that, I think the way that they've really shaped up well, they've been hard to break down. They're not giving a whole lot to wasted potential, not making mistakes. And that's really all you can ask for. And when they play those better teams, your Direwolves, your Elevates, your Bleeds, that's where it's going to really help Fury. So if they've got a good defensive shape against those teams, I think it gives them a good opportunity to maybe steal a game or 2 from those top 3 other teams.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I would frame it the exact same way. They're obviously doing a great job in putting themselves in commanding positions, but the thing about Siege, and especially in this meta, is you can lose that advantage quite quickly if you make only a couple of mistakes. Fury have been very, very disciplined. It was one of the things that they did struggle with initially last year, was they did lack a lot of discipline, and part of that was because they weren't often on the front foot, but now that they are, and they are in these powerful positions, they're making the most of them. No one is over-aggressing, no one's doing anything silly. Those mistakes are being massively minimized, and that just keeps the pressure on wasted potential. They're the ones now that are cracking under that pressure, and staring down the barrel of a 0-5 deficit is never a position you want to be in. You can be as optimistic as anyone and do your best to ignore that scoreline, but at the end of the day, it is going to be something that's going to be looming a little bit.
It's not even about the scoreline itself, though, right? It's like you can actually be down 0-5, especially considering they're attacking on Clubhouse. That's not an easy feat against a good defensive team like Fury. But I'm just not seeing enough that makes me go like, oh, okay, they do a little bit more of this, or do this a little bit better, and there's something there. Ironically, their name is probably living up the most right now. It just feels like wasted potential. That is probably the most apt comparison I can actually make. There's so much potential on this roster. And I think there's a good team there. It's just not clicking right now. It is only also the first game. So I don't want to be too overly harsh, but I also do want to be honest with what I'm seeing from this. And yeah, it's just been all Fury 100% of the way through. And as I said, I think they've actually gotten better as the night's gone on. And going back to what I said earlier, these 2 teams today only play the 1 game. Everyone else plays 2. So obviously we've got 3 more full matches after this, which will be the same teams that we saw earlier in the first 3 matches of the broadcast. So it also means that, and these two teams would have been aware of that they only have to study for the one game. They only got to prep for the one game. This would have been a good opportunity for Wasted Potential to take down a team like Fury. You think about further weeks ahead, and further play days ahead, I'm assuming Wasted Potential are not going to get another night where they only play the one game. Imagine a night where you could play Bleed and then someone else. Like, that makes things a little bit more tricky on that given night. So Chance potentially has gone begging. Game's not over though. Well, it almost feels like it has, considering how long this break is. We're still waiting to get Shibe back into the game. But, you know, you win the 6th round, you make it 5-1, you go on the defense. We've seen those things happen. We've seen those comebacks happen. Unfortunately, what we haven't seen though is Shibe get back into the lobby until I've just seen him right now say he has returned. So hopefully not too far away, guys. But I mean, I think it's fair to say Fury are going to probably win this game. It's just a matter of, can Wasted Potential get something out of this last round on their attack, make something happen, just throw caution to the wind, try and be a little bit more aggressive. And ultimately after that, you then get to go into the second half yourself and you get to change things up a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we'll be jumping in very shortly, so hopefully we can see a spark from Wasted Potential. Yeah, the big storyline for them has been that their structure just hasn't quite translated well into a lot of these rounds, and perhaps, yeah, they do need to throw caution out the wind a little bit and maybe try to find openings that otherwise wouldn't really present themselves. But the big issue with that is they have taken us to Clubhouse. It's a map that just doesn't really facilitate those routes. It is very, very challenging. So I don't think relying on that's going to be particularly great, but at this point, I think it's better to try something than just go out and fizzle out and let Fury run away with this completely.
Yeah, because it's interesting, and you're right. Obviously, when you think about the map like Clubhouse, what can you realistically do? And you look at probably a site like Cash and CCTV. If Fury's not playing off-site and they're holding top red, they're actually doubling down on rafters. You know, they've got to play a con, play a site. There's not much you can do in utilizing the rest of the map. It's a very site-centric site, isn't it? Right? So you open up, obviously, Kennel's wall. You try and get a bit of pressure from con. You pressure those in rafters. A lot of that comes through utility usage. So you kind of look at, okay, what is Wasted Potential bringing into this round? And I'm not too sure if the Jackal's the right play, because no one from Fury's roaming. What's the Jackal really accomplishing here?
I guess it can lurk below, but yeah, that impact may be limited. We'll see. Envid as well going for a lurk, so it does look like caution is being thrown out the wind a little bit here. And Wasted Potential will see if these lurks can produce results. Crit J is about to find himself in a pinch, quite literally. Information as well, I think. And Envid should just be able to sneak up and get that kill, and he does. So that's pretty well played. And a second.
Oh, that's a great
that's really
second
well
kill.
played.
Yeah, that's much better from Envid. On the Ash, you're that kind of player. You've got to be that kind of player on this roster. And that's basically what I've been just screaming out for in the last 5 rounds. And he's gone and done it. But well done to Envid. A little bit more of that, and there is that potential that can seep through for this team. Because they've got the rest of it down pat. You know, the coordination of their hard breaches and their utility, that's a good shot from Lycolis, just to relieve a little bit of pressure. Then Beachy, man, makes the trip down Rafter Stairs. Envid, though, finds 3 in the round. The pressure over towards Red Stairs continues to pile on, but Lycolis will finally shut down the Ash. So back and forth. Finally in this game, it's taken until the 6th round, guys, but some action, some real action, some real good back and forth. Not just a Fury stomp. But it does mean it's a very low HP Vexion that needs his hard breacher and diffuse carry and Cyrez to make the initial rush. He did. He got onto site, but he took a lot of damage for it.
Nitro goes out, lands, Vexion falls. Cyrez left in the 1 versus 2. But Fury able to hold that cross. It was a little bit messy. They allowed the deep in towards site, but nonetheless clean up the round. And it's a perfect half.
Oh, that was, but like, that's literally what I was, like, that's a perfect reference point now. Absolutely perfect reference points. That round, you've lost it, but you played well. You made things happen. And if all of those rounds that you lost prior were like that, I would be singing the praises of Wasted Potential, even down 0-6. Unfortunately, the 5 rounds before that, not good. That round, good, but still lost it anyway. Kind of the nature of of Clubhouse, right? And that's why it's always defender side. You can be creative, you can be envied and push in on the Ash and get a nice double in Garage and then push up red stairs. But if that player top red is doing a good job defensively, which is what we saw from Lycolis, it's still such a critical junction to push through. And then obviously Rafters is being doubled down. BG Man got a couple of kills as well. So even though you get the initial kill, BG Man comes in, takes the spot. So really well played from Fury, but also well played to Waste Potential. That was probably my favorite round of this game thus far.
Yeah, it certainly felt like the most competitive. Fury on the attack now, and they're going to bring the Montang, so I can only assume it'll be a full Garage take here from Fury. Lycolis will lead the charge, who, keep in mind, is going 7-0 so far. I didn't even notice he was popping off to that extent, but such is the nature of Fury at the moment. Everyone playing very, very well. Mirror Window popped on the main breach, so aggressive from the defense, and Envy actually able to get a kill. So an intriguing way to start the game, and with Capital down, clearing Rafters now just became slightly more difficult.
Yeah, this is what you need to see from Envy. Whether it's on the attack, defense, doesn't matter. He's probably going to be that guy on this roster. Everyone else is going to play into sort of the systems and the systematic approach, whether it's on the defense, on the attack. So he's probably the one that gets those reins, right? His reins are a little bit looser. He can roam. He can go for frags. On the RX though, on site now, that's fine. You got the kill. So especially on Clubhouse, you don't have to get too greedy. You get one and you can kind of just fall back and really just play sight, cache, CCTV. You just want to keep those hard pillars in your control. Top red, Rafters, Con. Lock down those three and it's really difficult for the attackers. And the Capital's not there either to dislodge on site. That's probably the best that Capital's going to bring to a site like cache and CCTV. Those mollies, those smokes can really punish those on site. And Shibe finds a kill onto I9. Deals with the buck. Dark doesn't want to peek it, and suddenly a bit of hesitance in Fury's attack in this round. Waited though and gets rewarded. Looks for the player in secret. No. He's not going to pick that one.
And now it's a test of Wasted Potential's discipline. We've already seen one player fall unnecessarily and nearly a second through secret, and Fury may look to actually pinch them. And also Lycolis on the prowl in Garage. Wasted Potential, time is on their side. The man advantage is on their side. They're not the ones now that need to make the moves. It'll be Fury, showing initiation down below. BG Man finds one though, taken down low in response, but will survive.
Yeah, barely though. Obviously, Lycolis on the Montang is not going to be able to do a whole lot. He's more for the late round. Okay, BG Man loses his life. Lycolis picks up Diffuser and now has to make the move up Rafter stairs without really a whole lot of help. Only Dark. Dark's got a decent angle, at least from Lounge. Well, I don't know if he's got the angle. And there's still obviously a couple of ADS as well that are blocking off these nades. Oh, that's a wonderful nade from Dark.
And Lycolis is blocked by these keeper barriers. He cannot get up the stairs. Look at right above, top of screen. He cannot walk up these stairs without punching that keeper barrier or ducking under it. He manages to survive, so he doesn't get completely punished for that. But again, another roadblock here. Vexion playing his position so well. Just needs to dodge these hip fires and Dark down below, but he gets help. His teammate assists Lycolis in the 1 versus 2. He's blocked out, he's locked out, and with 5 seconds remaining in red time, shouldn't be allowed to win this. Don't let him win it. Do not let him win this clutch. Cyrus runs away, but he gets hit! Fury win the round. They'll take the map. I cannot believe what we have just seen. Wasted Potential losing that round, and Fury somehow with a flawless victory.
I don't know what to say. I'm just stunned. I thought it was over. He's literally Rafters stuck behind the keeper barrier. He can't even move. And yet somehow manages to clutch up the round. Lycolis, basically perfect in that game. I think it was since the rehost that he obviously ends up now going 9-0. But there's 2 seconds looking at this replay. Why do you run into him? Tyrese.
Well, look, let's be completely honest. Both players there are throwing. Neither of them need to be anywhere close to the Montang there. So, yeah, very questionable. But I guess maybe they just wanted to put themselves out of their misery early. Yeah, that was a weird way to end things off for a weird game.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a weird game, to be fair. I think it was just a really well executed game from Fury, basically from start to finish. I think maybe the opening 2-3 rounds, they weren't necessarily at their best. It was a little bit more scrappy, and that's probably where the game was a little bit more, I'd say, vulnerable for them. And then they get past those 2-3 opening rounds and they just really cleaned up from there. The next couple of rounds after that were very clinical, capping off with, I think, a flawless in the 5th round. So unfortunately for Wasted Potential, you get 7-0'd on your debut with a good roster and against a team that, you know, many would probably say might be the 4th best team in this region, right? That's probably not too much of a stretch. Just depends on really who you ask, and depends on where these teams, I guess, shape up for the rest of this stage. But yeah, nevertheless, a lot of work needs to be done, guys, for Wasted Potential, because they kind of lived up to their name in their first game.
Yeah, the signs are there. I think they actually did okay. I think a lot of it was exacerbated by some of the difficulties that arise on Clubhouse. So I'm going to still put a question mark on them for now. If we see this replicated on a different map, I get concerned. But if they can come out of a different map and show a bit more promise, then I think they're probably better positioned.
Fury too good in their debut here. They get the win 7-0 over Wasted Potential. Short ad break, of course, and then over to DevMarder on the desk.